You feel like something has changed. You can't quite say where, but it's there, present. Touch feels distant. The body, strange, as if intimacy had gone silent. It's not that love has ended, but there's a space between you, a silence between wanting and feeling. And then you realize it's not just your body that has changed. It's the way it exists. It's as if something inside you is asking to be seen, truly seen. If this resonates with you, subscribe to the channel and leave a like. Here, we talk about what no one else talks about, calmly, truthfully, and respectfully. The desire that changes. Desire doesn't disappear, but it changes. And that change is subtle, almost invisible to others, but deeply felt by you. It's not that you've stopped wanting, it's just that now the wanting comes differently. It no longer arrives as urgency, not as an uncontrollable impulse, but as a gentle calling, one that needs time, an environment, truth. Before, a touch, a glance, an unhurried night was enough. Now touch must come with intention, the glance with tenderness, and the night must begin long before the bedroom, because female desire after 50 doesn't die, it matures, and with that, it becomes more selective, more sensitive, deeper. But no one told us it would be like this. We grew up hearing that with age, the flame goes out, that women cool down, that it's normal to lose interest. But the truth is, the body doesn't lose its ability to feel. It simply asks to be awakened in new ways. And what used to be automatic now requires presence, a pause, listening. You still want, but sometimes you can't say it, because the world taught you that mature women don't speak of desire, and if they do, they're judged. You might have tried to fit back into what was, have the same reactions, respond in the same way, but something inside you said, this isn't it anymore. Not like this, not in this time, and not understanding this new desire. You go quiet, pretend everything's fine, think it's your fault or his, but it's not about blame, it's transition, it's life moving through the body, and silently saying, now I am different. And if the other doesn't notice, it's not because they don't care. Sometimes they just don't know how to approach. They don't understand this new map of your body, this new rhythm of your soul, but you can teach gently, gently, with words that don't blame, only reveal, because desire still lives there, in some corner of your chest, in the memories that still give you chills, in the gestures that still move you, in the touches that still carry power. It's just waiting for a safe space to bloom. You don't have to force what isn't coming, but you can create the conditions for it to arrive, with more silence, with more tenderness, with more truth. And if sometimes you feel alone in this rediscovery, know this, you are not alone. Thousands of women right now are trying to understand this same silence, this same partial absence, this same new way of wanting. The silence between you. Speaking feels hard, sometimes impossible, not because there's no love, but because there's a deep fear of ruining what, despite everything, is still standing. You rehearse the words in your head, try to imagine how to say them, but you soon give up, not out of shame, but out of fear of what might come next, because you know him. You know his silences. You know he shuts down when something sounds like a demand, and what feels like a plea for care to you. He might hear as criticism, as rejection. So you choose to hold it in, you smile, you go on, you pretend everything's fine. But inside, the discomfort grows, because you're there, present, available, but feeling like there's no space to fully exist. Love may still be there, respect may be present, partnership, care, daily life, all of it is functioning. And yet, there's an absence, a feeling of being invisible. You're doing your part. So is he. The routine is in order. But intimacy, the real kind, the kind that allows you to be your full self, feels suffocated by a pact of silence. You both learned not to touch this sensitive ground, to preserve what works, to not stir things up where it's not needed. But little by little, that protection begins to turn into distance, and you feel it, even without saying it, even without hearing it, because there's a kind of loneliness that happens inside a relationship. It's not about the other person's absence, it's about the lack of space to show up fully, the fear of being misunderstood, the ache of wondering, am I ungrateful for wanting more? After all, he's there, he's doing what he can. He's kind, he's present in his own way. But does he really see you? Does he realize that more than a gesture, you need to be listened to? Not advice, not solutions, but a real moment, a safe place to say, I don't know what's happening to me. And here, without judgment, it's okay. We can figure it out together. But opening that kind of conversation takes courage, because it's been years avoiding that territory. Years spent silencing the discomfort to avoid hurting anyone. Years adapting to a space where silence felt safer. And now you find yourself trying to carve a path through ground hardened by time. But still, something inside you insists. It needs to be said. It needs to be seen. Because the silence that protects also creates distance. And you feel it. You feel that you don't just want company. You want presence, you want exchange, you want the freedom to be who you are now. And even if he doesn't know how to start, even if he doesn't understand everything at first, you can show him gently, tenderly, honestly. You're not demanding perfection or asking for too much. You're just trying to reclaim a space where words still have a place, where love doesn't have to protect itself with silence, where affection can be expressed without fear, where you can be heard, not as someone complaining, but as someone who trusts. Because this relationship can still be a place of warmth, of discovery, of reconnection, not like it was before, but like it can be now. Disconnection from yourself. It's not just about the other person or about what's missing between you. It's about you, about how you've been feeling in your own body, or rather, how you've almost stopped feeling it at all. For a long time, your body was strength, it was support, it was a tool for care. It carried children, cleaned the house, rushed to take care of everything. And you got used to seeing it as a means, not an end. But now, it asks for something else. It no longer wants to just function. It wants to be felt. It wants to be inhabited with presence. And maybe that's the scariest part, because no one ever taught us how to reconnect with the body after it changes. After the skin softens, the rhythm slows, the touch no longer responds as it used to. You look at yourself in the mirror and it takes a moment to recognize yourself. It's not that you don't like who you see, but it's as if the reflection doesn't tell the full story. You get dressed, but the clothes don't feel like they reflect you anymore. You touch yourself, but it doesn't feel familiar. You move, but something inside stays still. It's as if your body is there, but you haven't quite returned to it. And this isn't about vanity. It's about identity, about presence, about belonging. Because little by little, you've drifted away from yourself, not out of neglect, but from overwhelm, from necessity, from years and years where the focus was always on someone else. Now that there's more silence, more space, you're starting to hear what was once ignored. And what you hear might hurt, but it can also heal. Your body is trying to speak through the symptoms, through the pauses, with the subtle discomforts, with the sense that something doesn't quite fit. And the question he's really asking deep down is simple. Are you still there? Because no matter how much he has changed, He's still yours, and he still feels, still desires, still dreams. But now he needs a different rhythm, a different pace, a different kind of touch. And it's okay if you don't yet know how to come back to him. Maybe the first step is simply admitting, I've lost a little bit of myself, and allowing yourself to find your way back, without guilt, without rush, without the pressure to fit into what was. You don't have to desire the way you used to, feel the way you used to, respond the way you used to, because who you are now is a different kind of beauty, calmer, more aware, more your own. And that reconnection can begin in the small gestures, in a longer, more mindful shower, in choosing clothes that actually feel like you, in a touch that's driven not by purpose but by curiosity, in the breath that anchors you in the now. Your body is asking for presence, and slowly you can begin to give it that again, not as a demand, but as care, as a way of saying, I'm here, with you, for you. This path back isn't a lonely one, because every gesture you make in that direction is a way of embracing yourself, choosing yourself, recognizing yourself. And maybe, just maybe, rediscovering pleasure starts there, in the simple act of coming back home to your own skin. The new rhythm of desire. Maybe you still feel desire, but it doesn't come the way it used to. It doesn't arrive in a rush. It doesn't explode out of nowhere. It hints. It arrives softly. It asks for context. It asks for connection. It asks for a little more of you and a little less obligation. Desire now has a new rhythm, slower, more selective, quieter. And that in itself is not a problem. It's just new. The mature body doesn't stop feeling, but it becomes more intentional about what it wants to feel. What once awoke automatically now needs intention, presence, safety. Maybe you've already asked yourself, why don't I feel like I used to? Did I lose something in me? Is this permanent? But the answer isn't in loss. It's in transformation. Your body hasn't abandoned you. It simply changed its language. And it's waiting for you to learn how to listen in this new way. And it's okay if you don't yet speak this new language fluently. It's made of subtleties, made of pauses, of breaths. Now, desire needs to begin before the touch. It starts in the gaze that welcomes, in the word that doesn't rush, in the gesture without expectations, in the atmosphere built throughout the day, not just at the end of it. This new desire isn't interested in performance, but in depth. It doesn't seek quantity. It seeks quality. It seeks truth. And that's the beauty. You no longer have to mold yourself to what was expected of you. You can honestly discover what still moves you, what still pulses, what still gives you chills, even if in a different way. The body now asks for permission. It asks to be heard. It asks for time. And you have that time. You have the right to pause, to breathe, to feel. You don't have to force it, or rush it, or fake it. Because wanting now is also an act of freedom, of choosing to feel with awareness, of honoring what still vibrates, even if with a new intensity. Yes, you can still want, but you can want slowly, gently, with real surrender. And the other, if they're willing to learn this new rhythm, can be your partner in this slower, more mature, more meaningful dance. But even if they don't know yet, you can begin alone. Begin by listening to yourself, allowing yourself, touching yourself without a goal. Because pleasure is not only physical, it's also emotional, spiritual. It's the body saying yes when it feels safe, when it knows it won't be rushed or invaded. It's the body saying, I still want, but in my own time. And maybe, for the first time, you're discovering an intimacy that comes from within, a form of desire that doesn't depend on someone else's response, but on your own permission. This new rhythm isn't absence, it's wisdom. And you can learn to dance with it, without guilt, without comparison, without looking back, trying to reclaim what was, because what is now is new, is deep, is yours. You don't have to go back to how you were, or desire like before, or feel what others expected you to feel. You just need to listen to yourself, truly, without judgment, because yes, there is a new desire, more selective, more sensitive, deeper, and it hasn't left you. It's just taken a new form. Maybe it's just asleep, waiting for you to pause, to breathe, and to invite it back in. But not like someone demanding, like someone welcoming. Because new intimacy doesn't come from effort, it comes from connection. From the moment you say to yourself, I'm still here, even with all the changes, I'm still capable of feeling presence, feeling touch, feeling pleasure. And no, pleasure isn't just physical. It's not just about the bed. It's not just a hormonal response. Pleasure is living in your whole body. It's looking in the mirror and recognizing yourself. It's putting on an outfit and saying, this feels like me. It's dancing alone in the living room. It's making coffee slowly. It's placing a hand on your chest and realizing, I still vibrate. The pleasure that comes after 50 comes from a different place. It's not urgency, it's presence. It's not performance, it's truth. It's not about meeting expectations, it's about allowing yourself. And the most beautiful part, you don't need anyone else to start. It can be just you, in the long shower, in the lotion you spread on your body with intention, in a touch with no expectations, only curiosity, in the breath that leads your hand to your belly and says, I hear myself. This reconnection is intimate, quiet, gentle, and when you reconnect with yourself, the intimacy with the other person changes too, because what was missing wasn't just desire, it was space. It was listening. It was presence. And when you allow yourself to feel again, without obligation, without guilt, without fear, you show the other how to love you again, how to see you again, how to touch you with the respect and tenderness you deserve. It's not a return to the past. It's a new path, more mature, more conscious, more whole. And it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be real. Because there's no age limit on desire, no deadline for feeling alive, and no fixed script for rediscovering pleasure. You are the one writing this new chapter, with the time you have, with the body you live in, with the soul that, despite everything, still wants to be touched, with respect, with dignity, with presence, and with pleasure. You don't have to be who you were or feel how you used to. You can simply listen to yourself as you are now. Desire hasn't disappeared. It's just changed rhythm. It's become more sensitive, deeper, more selective. And pleasure, it's still possible, but now it comes from somewhere else. Not from impulse, but from presence, from touch without hurry, from a longer shower, from the moment you look in the mirror and recognize yourself, even with all the changes. Intimacy after 50 is no longer about meeting expectations. It's about inhabiting your own body with dignity, with truth, with curiosity. And the most beautiful thing is that you can start on your own, with your time, with your touch, with your silence. And when you reconnect with yourself, the other person also starts to truly see you. You don't have to desire the way you used to. You can desire in a new way, in a way that's more yours. And that is more than enough. It's liberating. If this resonated with you, write in the comments, I allow myself to feel again. And if you know a woman living in this silence, share this video with her. If this space speaks to you, subscribe to the channel and leave a like. Here we keep creating conversations that matter, with courage, with care, and with you.